There we go. I do believe we're live, so I'll say indeed. And greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. I forgot to put sunscreen on. And I'm going to be sitting outside. I try and not be in the sunlight. I'm scared of that deadly, deadly laser. But today's stream is not going to be about that. No. Today we'll be having a conversation about how we crystallize. And you might be asking, what does crystallize mean, Melt? Crystallize to me means to take a state. Any state, technically. No matter what state you take, that is a crystallized form. And I was thinking about it specifically as it relates to how we relate to others. Right? Very much so this perspective of when I'm in a social setting with a certain person, I am a certain person in that specific setting. Right? And that specific person that I am is, in my mind, a crystallization. And it can be said that that happens for the world as well, where the world feels a certain way about certain things, and then that state becomes a crystallized way of being. Right? And then as a result of that crystallized way of being, it's almost like an example, almost like it's the exact word that I'm looking for. Expectation. That expectation has been set that that's how it's going to be. And then ultimately, you cannot expect anything less. I'm going to see if I can connect. Did it now work? This gymnastics that we have to go through. There we go. There we go. It seems like things are now actually working. At least they are for me. Did you just join? If so, thank you. Thank you for finding yourself here. It's a pleasure sharing this moment with friends, with people to crystallize into this moment alongside with. It is interesting to see how we're back. Yay, Mojo. I'm happy that it's actually working now. I was like talking about how I'm going to try and switch over to the Wi-Fi that I had paid for that then disappeared. That I then tried to connect to, that then proceeded to not work, that I then proceeded to try and do a speed test on to get one of the best speed tests I've gotten. To find ourselves right back and in this moment. and in this moment, thank you, Sam, hello, Zana and Mojo, and all of the friends lurking in the background for joining in this moment. Here we are. Here we are. Another day for us to find ourselves present. I'm going through a whole internal thing right now of like not knowing exactly what it is I want to do next. On one hand, there is the part of me that wants to continue with the internet as it is. It's like $40 a month cheaper. $40 is $40. All right. And also, I don't think there's any, and also, there's no technical, and also. That's basically it. It's cheaper. It's slower. It's technically less reliable in some instances. But if I get it again, then it's more monies. And also, again, more chance for them to just switch it off again. I am pretty stoked it's working. I'm trying to find myself crystallized into some sort of state, right? Like a state of certainty of like, yeah, I'm done with this service. But then the service comes back on again, and I'm like, oh man, that is kind of nice. It is nice having internet speeds. I feel like that definitely is something that maybe fewer and fewer people will be familiar with. Internet for me has always been something of a struggle. Literally since the first time we had internet, which admittedly was earlier than most people here in South Africa. Still way later than you friends in the States, but relatively early for South Africa. It was like 512 kilobits per second. That was like your maximum download speed. And to the friends who do not know what that means, I just ran a speed test and it was 320 megabits per second. All right, 512 is half a megabit. So the internet I have just now is about, what, 7,000% faster? Is that right? My mathing is wrong. Let me ask one of my machines. Right, I read a recent thing that's like, oh yeah, if you use ChatGPT, you're brain damaging yourself. I'm like, bro, have you seen how much else we're doing that's brain damaging ourselves? How much larger is 370 megabits per second than 512 kilobits per second as a percentage value? Yes, thank you, machine. My questionable calculator. 72,000%. Excuse me, with my 7,000%, 72,000% faster. And can we just take a moment to think about that? The version of me that first had internet, in comparison to the version of me that now has internet, my internet is 72,000% faster. And it's only gotten, relatively speaking, 4 times as expensive. Right? So it's like 400% more expensive, but I get 72,000% faster speeds. First day at my new job as a server. Nice. Utter pop. I hope you get to meet cool people. I hope they're generous. I hope they're kind. I hope that you enjoy the time that you spend. Fantastic. I don't know if you could hear that combustion vehicle start up. I could. And I know for a fact that you cannot smell the uncombusted or properly already combusted fuel that is wafting in the air right now. I can. I viscerally disenjoy carcinogens. I'm angry. There's a part of me that's angry. Part of me that's raging against the machine. I breathe. I'm kind of cold as well. I don't have a blanket here with me. Let's see if this Mary Jane will come and give me a warm hug. My intention for today is to consider how I will crystallize. What shape will I take in all of the circumstances that face me? That's the only question that I really have to ask myself day in, day out. Shoo. What are we kicking around today? Today we're kicking around, dearest Sam, this concept of crystallizing the self, specifically as it relates to others, and especially as you do relate, and that is. And it's very much this understanding that I feel I have come to in my own relationships, where if I am going to be with another person in my life, right? Let's say, for instance, Christian and me hangs out in those two spirits, my own and that of my friend coming together, my spirit, the person that I am, starts playing a certain role. I am, right? I'm looking for the little pouch. It's underneath the bag. I am. I exist, as you do too. But this I am that you are has infinite room to expand into, right? You can play a bunch of different roles. And when you keep showing up with the same person, you start to almost crystallize in a familiar way, right? That's the thing that I'm really thinking about today, Sam. I was thinking about the way that I crystallize and the familiarity that comes with it. And there was this personal judgment that I was casting in myself, where I was going down this tangent or this rabbit hole of narrative that this kind of person that I am, unless you're very willing, let's say, to love me for all of my complexity, it's easier to love me from a distance, right? While I was meditating, I was thinking about that. And it was this perspective that this person that I am has a certain way of engaging with the world. And when another person comes into my field of influence, if you will, when they're capable of witnessing my character and be inspired by, influenced by that expression, it's almost like you need to be impressed, like the impression needs to be made, and then it needs to be separated for it to have the right kind of effect. And it's weird for me to say it in that way, and maybe I can give you the perspective that led up to it. There was this whole conversation inside of my mind thinking about people in their thinking about me, right? And it was in relation to something that Martin said where he was thinking about me. And then in that moment, as things were hectic in his life and he needed someone to reach out, I happened to be that person. And I was thinking about how if I was a constant presence in his life, that kind of circumstance wouldn't be allowed to arise. Right? Like the level of influence I have would be changed. And that led me to thinking, and I feel erroneously so, and that's why we're unpacking it, that it's better for me to have my moment and then go away. Right? That's almost the way that my mind was articulating that kind of feeling to myself. And then again, right, the way that I'm kind of bringing myself all the way back is in thinking about the friends that have had a more concentrated exposure to my energy, right? They've seen more of me. I'm thinking about Christian in that capacity, right? He is, at this point, my most weathered friend. And I'm saying weathered from the perspective of he has seen all the different sides of myself. All right. And it makes me think about, again, this relationship we have with crystallizing into being a certain kind of person. Because there's a certain kind of crystallization that happens in the minds of others as well as they relate to you. All right. When someone looks at you, depending on how long they've known you, and depending on first impressions, or maybe they knew you since you were a child, that process of mental crystallization of what you are and who you are happens at some point. And it's very difficult for you to change that crystallization in the minds of others. And it's almost like there is power. Maybe that is the thing that I'm thinking about. Maybe that's the lesson or wisdom that I can extract, is that there is power in making an impression, a first impression or whatever, and then ceasing your interaction, right? As to let your first impression make the impression it needs to make, instead of you making more impressions that could end up influencing that crystallized snapshot. Right? And this sounds like some sort of manipulation, doesn't it? Uh, and maybe I could tell another story that is like coming up to my mind as it relates to this thing that I'm talking about right now. This thing we're kicking around, as Sam said. Let me know if we're still live. I'm gonna quickly check in and check out. Check out. Yeah, just making sure everything is still chugging along. So this was at White Rabbit when Adam came through from Zimbabwe to fetch me. And I went with him to that White Rabbit festival. There was so much that transpired during that whole fractal. But there was like a moment. There were two moments with the same person that seemed like they were both in the same vein of experience, which was it was interesting to see how that person saw me, and it influenced how I want to be seen. Maybe that's a way to say it, right? And it went something like, as I was coming into my experience wrestling some lions, hey, Flavin Penguin, I'm having a hard time with this topic, man. Maybe aim lower. No, 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 no. This is gonna start making sense, right? I can keep building, keep paper macheing this complex three-dimensional object that I'm trying to portray and give to you. All right. So I am at this festival. We're at our campsite. There is some matting on the ground, so you're not directly in the dirt. And I'm starting to wrestle some lions, right? The lions are like, just, bro, you in religion stuff? No, not exactly. I like talking about spiritual topics. I like talking about religious wisdom, right? I'll give due where wisdom is, but I don't religion person or race. Anyway. So again, scene set, tent area, caravan, matting area, place for me to do yoga. And I'm starting to get into the experience, and I'm doing stretches, right? Like you atheist, yeah? No, not exactly. All right. I believe if anything, I'm a panpsychist, right? Any and everything, anything and everything is conscious. There's nothing separate from consciousness, right? If you want to label me, there you go. Everything is conscious. Nothing is separate. Neither are you. Back to the story. So I'm starting to get into my yoga flow, right? And it's painful, and there is discomfort to be felt, but I'm showing up for this experience, right? And I'm pushing myself into it. And I'm down on the ground, right? Like I'm doing yoga directly on the earth. And this is a festival environment, and I am kind of public facing where people walk. So suddenly, as I'm in this like stretching pose, I think I'm in a child's pose at that point, I hear this voice of someone like, "Are you okay?" And I lift my head up and I look at this person. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just doing some yoga." And they're like, "Oh, do you want a piece of incense?" And she holds a piece of incense. And I don't like pieces of incense, right? Especially the artificial kind. Doesn't sit right with me to breathe those carcinogens. So I have like a personal aversion to those incense sticks. So I thank her and I say, no, no, thank you. Don't want any incense sticks. Remember me? Avengers? Of course. Like Iron Man, right? And the Black Widow and the Hulk, the whole team is behind that chat window. Of course, I remember. Anyway, so she's like, okay, kind of taken aback by my not wanting to receive her gift, if you will, and she walks on her way. And I finish my stretches, and the experience continues. And basically the day pass, Sunday arrives, and it's end of day. People are starting to leave, and I'm basically doing like a little bit of drumming, and then this person shows up again, right? Suddenly is next to me and offers me a cigarette. And again, same same with incense sticks. I also don't appreciate cigarettes. And again, I'm like, no, thank you. No, thank you. Don't want any cigarettes. And again, I can see this like shock in this person. And I ask her about it. And she's like, you know, everybody that I offer things always take from me. Nobody ever says no when I offer them things. And you now have said no to the things I offer you twice. Right? And I was like, just that whole interaction with that person, the way that my person in that world crystallized to her, where it was something of note that she wanted to say, right, to me was kind of shocking. Because again, had she offered me anything else other than those two things, I might have said yes. Maybe I would have, right? I'm not so holy that I don't need anything. I am complete without your gifts. But the way that person perceived me, was so potentially wrong as to all that I might want from the world. Right? Again, there was still love felt. People wanting to give you things or wanting to help is always seen as something that is, love, if you will. But it is one of those things where how are we crystallizing? Because again, I almost see it as this weird balance. There's a movie called Nimona, for example, that had this one line about once people see you as a villain, they never see you any other way. Right? And that very much is like a poignant point of crystallization of a person. Right? As soon as you crystallize as a certain person in the minds of other people, it's almost impossible for you to not be that person. Right? So there's this weird balance of you have to portray this image and crystallization of selfhood in the minds of others. And then as that happens and that is communicated back to you, that will start shaping your personhood as a result. And I know that's probably a little bit out there, Sam. But isn't that interesting? Don't you think that's cool? What do you do about that? Do you do something about that? Bro, according to you, which is the most logical religion? This sounds like some loaded questions, right? Don't lick my hands, you freaking cretin. Cretin. You're gonna be licking my hands, you hand licker. You freaking licking of handsers. Uh, I want to kind of no comment. Logical religion. I feel. Stop. Stop. I feel like that's one of those questions where it's like I can't in good faith answer that. My mind wants to, right? The mind always likes answering questions that they are asked. Sure, there are more religions out there. I don't think I have like a large enough grasp on all of them to know which one is the most logical. So I think I'll answer next time pass on this one. So I would say science, sure. Science has some weight as well. Science works on the basis of proof, and religion on the basis of belief. They are different. This is apt point Moon Knight's making. What's your theory like? Who created everything? Because it's also complicated that there must be a higher power. Here we are, right? Here we are. I find that my relationship with this creator or higher power is one of gratitude and love, both ways. Where I believe that if I live in a space of being grateful and loving of my environment and my experience as I'm having it, then I am living by living by the law, living in alignment with the highest good. Right? And for me, that's good enough. I don't have to overcomplicate it. It it will choose Islam. Nice. Sakwib, if you start your research on who created everything, you would always end up with no scientific answer, as everything has an origin. So whenever you find something, it will have an origin, and it goes. I'm more confused. Yes, this is me saying there needs to be a higher power out there. Something cannot come from nothing, right? I've never seen nothing in my life, Sakwim. Have you ever seen nothing? I don't think I've seen a nothing before. It's only been somethings. Always. It's almost like this thing that we are always is, right? As above, so below. There is no separation in that as well. We need to work on the empirical evidence data. Mother can't give birth to herself. I mean, I don't know if you know, bro, but the more we science, the more we can do stuff like that. Like a mother giving birth to a female offspring that can again give birth to another female offspring. Like we can science that. All right. I'm thinking towards Islam. I know it's okay. I'm thinking alongside you here, but I'm thinking here like in South Africa and stuff with my whole perspective, right? So in that, our collective perspectives gives us an even wider grasp of the whole together. What are these comments? Utang lobby, you're supposed to add good ones, friend. Help a brother out. Doing all the research and stuff. Yes, that's what I am trying to say. If I end up getting an answer, there would be something that created an answer. There's something that created the something, and it goes on into eternity. Yeah, I've had that whole question as well. So again, right? So this is the way that I think Moon Knight is trying to share. This is how I'm interpreting, at least, is that if we have to have the whole conversation of like, hey, oh, you can't just get not something out of nothing. There had to be a God that created this something. Then I'm like, okay, where did God come from? And then it's like, no, but God always was. And I'm like, okay. And then we can go like down that same line of reasoning and be like, the universe always was, right? Cyclical maybe, but there is an isness to this. And it's just like none of us can know. Not really. All we really can know is this moment. And again, what I can know about this moment is that I love it. I'm a little bit cold, TBH. I'm thinking about a blanket. And I think if I had a blanket over me, I'd love that. Again. So the more I look, the more love is true. Mm. Science wants to know how, religion seeks to understand why. Neither one needs to confirm a higher power. Yeah, it's okay to say, I don't know anything. However, I'm still learning. This is good to say, even. Oteng, all of us could stand to learn a little bit more. The most logical religion is Dudism. Remove the chains from your neck. Be free. Ugh. You know what? I feel so free. In fact, I'm so free. I'm gonna go and get a blanket. Right? Usually, I would like stay here suffering. I'd suffer so much just for you to make sure that you don't miss even a second. Not even a second. Alana. Uh, but I'm gonna like check you in a second. I'm quickly gonna get a blanket. Charles Darwin is probably shaking and rolling in the grave at these things. Yeah, dude would probably lose his mind, right? Especially if you had to tell him that we live in an age where we have a literal equivalent of supercomputers in our pockets, and they have like digital cameras, and they have access to all human knowledge, and there is still so much misinformation. He'd be like, no, but please, but surely people got like and realize and change. It's like, no, that's cute. You think people change just because they had access to all information humanity ever created? You think wrong. They just use all of the information they gather to reaffirm their own biases. Some of them had better biases than others, and that's where the work comes in. Jeeps. That's where you have to start working at it, yo. It's like it's gonna be you. What's your intention? Right? If your intention is religious crusadism, I'm gonna go in religions out there in the world like that. Is that a good intention? Is that a good intention? Just asking. Just asking. I don't know. Does it pay the bills? Is that wrong to ask? Maybe someone pays the bills. Maybe it's like travel. Maybe if you do that, you get like free food and you get to go places and people will let you sleep because you believe the same things they believe. Maybe it's just another way to play the game. Who am I to say that you're not supposed to? What I can say though is that don't don't be like, come on, tap me out. You tap in. It's like, no. I've been seeing the Quran and it gave me most my answers except for few people I hate. But I don't know. There was Hitler. We can't reject Christianity, and so I'm gonna pretend like I knew what that message meant. Yeah. Science is just a tool. Yeah, exactly. It's true. Love is different concepts for everyone. Yeah, it's also true. But again, love, I believe, is also an energy, right? If you feel that energy of love, right? The concept of love is true, and as I'm saying it, makes sense to you, right? And there's this certain warmth. It's like, it's like everything's gonna be okay. It's like, the world is not going to collapse in on me. Type of energy that arises in your heart. Like, love is true, right? And that energy, I believe, is the truth underlying our reality. And all of the filters we get in the way obstructs that sense of relief, that love from us. In Quran, I've been seeing miracles. Like, how could someone illiterate? I'm pretty sure that's the word he said. Illiterate man. Illiterate. Yeah. I am an illiterate man. An illiterate man, no, 1,400 years ago, which is discovered now. I don't know what that means, bro. If like somebody had to uncover this live stream 1,400 years from now, they'd probably be like an illiterate man right now. Is probably posting stuff out there in the world. Gabby go, my good friend Mel. Good to see you, Gabs. It's nice to have you here, bro. I thought about you bunches today. Thought about your whole fractal of getting more Bojacketh and how I continues to be inspired by you. Bro, it'll take a fraction of my second to end this multiverse if two antimatter collide. No, not really. Like way before the two antimatters collide, matter probably will find a way to do so first. Science or observation. This is what happens if you go to Coachella too much. Well, joke's on you, the Shake. I haven't been to Coachella once. Get wrecketh. I don't think I will be going to Coachella. Apparently, it's like $600 minimum for a ticket. Can you imagine spending 600 US dollars? No, sir. I can buy myself a new piece of technologies. I can buy batteries. I could buy batteries. Quran says, yeah, let's check it. Quran says, you will be in doubt and not firm, always guessing if you do not believe. Look at me. Firm, undoubting, believer. Certainty is achieved when you know Allah. Are you sure about that? The only answer I'll take is no. No, I'm not sure. It's like, well, checkmate. You don't know Allah, it seems. Well, yes, testing. That is the definition of doubt. Does the Quran also say that the sky shall be blue? How did it know? How did it know 1,400 years ago? I didn't know that. Testing in Islam, which is your to be mod. I just need to drop here every day, right? Or does it matter also how long I stay? Crizel, it matter not. Just keep showing up. I'm hearing the combusting of fuel, and there's like things inside me that doesn't like that. Oh, I can smell the combusted fuel. I would love for it to cease to do so. I think it's moving though. Can you still hear me? Yeah, you can still hear me. I don't like things that combust fuel. Oh, please, wind. Rid me of all of these toxic fumes. Better. The only religion which call upon one creator without partners, uniquely the originator, Quran and Sunnah. Yeah. I've been seeing videos of Dawawais and the Muslim lantern. I'm so lost. Like, we need to like reel it back a little bit so I can like know what we're talking about. The only sources. If we're all dependent, then the cannot eternity exist. Yes, more confused. Does the creator fart? It's interesting that you asked that question, Gabriku. I had this whole thing, imagining, let's call it, where I thought about a fart being almost like the original creation. Where it was this whole experience where I was doing yoga, and then as I was going through all of the yoga poses, again, in yoga, there is this uniting with the self. That's what it's about, right? And then I went through all of these poses, and then there was a fart. And there was this moment in me imagining almost like a cosmic creator, just like going through like yoga poses, and then through that moving energy, and then that energy being the Big Bang. Right, and that's where we are right now. No, is it an insult to say that? No, I don't think so. I'm a creator and I fart every day. There you go, gobbledygoo. I think our logic affirmed. As above, so below. If you fart, God probably does too, Gob. That's the logic I've been holding on to, Sam. I love that we have like canon, for God farts. Jesus is God, they say, the pagans. Jesus was a man, he ate and drank. You can guess. Yeah. Like I don't understand why we're having this conversation. Did I say something? Jesus is a mushroom, and the mushrooms make me fart. Ooh, Jesus is a mushroom. How about that? Go and take some soul searching, and go and look at why God said that, because that's a whole rabbit hole. If you're gonna talk about the pagans, yeah, 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 yeah. He gave it to us all, didn't he? To eat of his flesh, turns water into wine. How would they do that? I wonder. I wonder how they would do that. It's almost like we've had these things in our lives for us to experience for ourselves, so we don't have to believe the dogma that we are taught. Bro, you're not getting it. God is a positive energy. Yeah, I believe. I believe you're talking to someone else as well, which can't be seen. We just portray him. Him is a strong word as well, through some photos, which we think in. It's bullshit. Yeah, again, even like the whole him portrayal. It's like our lens of God is so human that that's one of the biggest reasons that I have a hard time believing it. MeltMore, what you're saying, I think, that's very vague and superficial. Well, it's up to you to understand the depth that you kind of assign to the superficial, right? It's like a face on a person. Like you can look at the face of a person, judge it to be beautiful or to be ugly, but that person has hopes and dreams, has feelings, has a whole world of depth inside of them, right? That continues to be there even if you can only acknowledge and witness the superficial. It's up to you, right? To figure it out, to add depth, to ask questions that I can answer that will add value if you want to know something. You will never have certainty unless you know Allah. And I believe in him. And we're happy for you testing. And maybe you can bring all of that certainty to us. Like, let's start with like the Powerball numbers. Just like, that's a pretty cool thing to have certainty over. All right, and then we can like buy an island. And then we can believe together with certainty. All right, we can make plans. Having that level of certainty would be very valuable. All right, I mean, at least lottery winning levels are valuable. But I mean, even more valuable. We can keep going for it. So am I. Yeah, what of Allah's name is the loving. Exactly. Jesus came in the form of man because of that. So my people turn to so much. I think religion, believe in your, I think fuck religion, believe in your inner positivity and design and reprogram yourself. Yeah. Technically. So this comment section is, it's like, part of me is wishing that I had a stick right now. Technically, a man who does not know his master will have many masters who will burden him. Ah, yes. My mind is still kind of like stuck on the whole, isn't the master that you have going to burden you too, though? Why will you not get burdened anymore suddenly, Sada Maurice? For what reason will there no be burden? Or is the burden gonna just continue all the way down, right? It just depends on who you're getting burdened by. Nips. I had rejected Hinduism long back when Buddhism also, cause like it's like say of life in Christianity confused me. Yeah, I get that. I know what that's like. Allah is the God Christians worship. Yeah, there is no difference. And God, having many children and knowing they all had different needs, sent us multiple teachers. God, Buddha, Muhammad, all taught love. Oh, big surprise. Who would have guessed that? Yes, like, how could we not notice that part, guys? It's almost like it was right there, obvious as daylight. We are God. There we go. God made us. We make more gods. It goes on and on. It isn't that serious what label we use. Yeah. What is important though is the fact that we're here now. We're here now. All right. Here we are. Well, what are we going to do with this time that we have? Right? Like we're all in the same boat, ultimately. I feel like that's the part that is kind of like gets lost on us, very much so. With all of this squabbling, with all the technicalities. My farts are godly. I create whole new dimensions of life in my being and I exhaust them out my rear. Literally, there's a whole microcosm of like organisms, of like interactions, of life forms, creating chemicals that get channeled up all the way up into your brain so that you can feel happy. Right? Like that's some pretty bonkers stuff. My entire family is Hindi, and I am the only atheist between them. And they don't know that. It's best to not let them know, in my personal experience. Right? Do you think Jesus created his mother? Oh, please. I don't want to. Testing. Oh, the creator is not the creation. Yeah, you said that like every single time you've been here for the last 20 streams. This bloodshed, however, over what? Mere rocks, of which we can found abundantly in space throughout the molecular and observable universe, that they needed the value because humans placed on them. Yeah, I'm in agreement with you on that, Oteng. Right? I believe we live in an infinitely abundant universe. And I do believe we need to get ourselves as a species to the point where we all realize that. Right? Moving past the scarcity mindset. I actually sent Hendrik a message today. Lutz, hey there. I'm coming today with good news and bad news. Hendrik is stable. He suffered severe internal bleeding and had a stroke while on one of the surgeries. He's not fully coherent yet. He is stable at the very least. Holy shit, isn't it? Whew. Thank you for letting us know, Lutz. I'm happy that he has help. Goodness. Yeah, you see, like the shit like this suddenly puts it in perspective. How you crystallize. Like we're squabbling about like technicalities. And there are some people that, if not for the help of medical professionals, would literally have died. They would have died. They would have just been dead. One of our friends, right? It's like it makes you realize the value, as Oteng said. You look like a nice guy. I don't know. You're taking it so mockingly. I'm a nice guy. I'm a nice guy. I've just had this conversation many times. So it's not like I'm being mocking. It's more like, imagine you're on a ride or you're watching a movie with a friend, and then your friend like freaks out a little bit over a certain scene. And then you're like, yeah, I know. Because you know the movie, you've seen it before. That's kind of the energy I'm occupying. I'm not trying to be mocking Lise. It's more just like, yeah, I know. And I know. I'm here with you. Zoom, 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 zoom. Zoom, 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 zoom. I'm gonna miss some of those. Atheism provides no reason to look out for others, to do good things, to be a good person. Those who are atheists and participate lovingly with the rest of the world do so altruistically. Yeah, exactly. Right? There's no, you're gonna go to heaven. Like, there's no, for me at least, I'm not doing what I'm doing with the hopes that it's gonna earn me a spot in heaven. I am doing what I'm doing every single day in the hopes that it will make this life I'm living worth having lived it. Right? It's kind of like a little bit of a different measuring system. It's like, yeah, sure, heaven and whatever, but you're alive right now. right? It's like that's where you're at. You don't have to like keep banking on where you're gonna go after you die, because you haven't yet. You're still freaking alive. He hasn't. He wasn't awake much, barely able to talk still. So there is possibly, there's a possibility it damaged something, but that is something the days will show. I'm sure he's gonna be fine. I imagine him being able to walk out of that hospital soon. Thank you, Lutz, again. I appreciate you giving us the feedback and the information, especially while Hendrik can. Why do you need purpose, though? Will you be contributing to world peace or another scientific revolution? Hopefully both, in my own small way. I don't think any person have ever, in a bubble, contribute to world peace or scientific evolution by their lonesome, completely on their ace. So I hope to be a part of the change that is to come for our species. No, your soul is burdensome. Are you telling me your desires will come your godlike? It's not my fault. That's the way he wrote it. Oh, zoom, 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 zoom. I'm missing the rest of it. You will obey your desires, but you will never be satisfied. Okay. Allah is free from needs, and your soul needs to be alive. You don't think Allah's soul needs to be alive? I feel like this instantly, it doesn't land for me. That's the big thing. Doesn't land for me. Like I'm open. I'm open. I'm like, yeah. But then it's like, there's just cringe. I'm looking in this special part in my heart, and all I find is cringe. I'm sorry. I'm gonna put it away. I shouldn't talk about it. It doesn't help. Where do people go who did good work and didn't believe in God? Also hell, apparently. Like you cannot be saved by your good deeds, the Bible says. Having kids isn't a purpose. There are still people who make this world even worse, as one's utopia is another's dystopia. Also, could be true. I don't have the answer, Moon Knight. To be a good person without the Lord is said to be impossible. But if a person were, and they had never heard the word, any of them, then they are judged according to their deeds. Ancient Egyptian style, yeah. But unfortunately, because we live in the internet age, that privilege has been taken away from all people. All people have heard the good news. So all people have had their get out of jail free cards. Get out of jail if you weren't a piece of shit cards revoked, unfortunately. Moon, hell is a different level. Note a stroke. Do they know if there's any damage yet? Jeeps. My heart is hurting. No, like, I did good work, but I don't believe in God, so I'm not going to heaven. So do I go to hell? Yeah. Yeah, you just go to hell. That's also like one of the things that has me a little bit lost on the whole believing in a God thing. It's like, it's like somebody can be a good person, they cannot harm a single soul, they can live their whole life altruistic, take care of the poor, and because they didn't believe in the right way, straight to hell. It's like, yeah, it's like, I don't know if I can be on that team. I'm gonna have to tap myself out. Gonna have to go to the other side. Like I said, I don't have the answer to that. I wish I did. What I do know is that a father who loves his children would not abandon one simply because they could not believe. Yeah, I believe this true. Right? It's like, almost like imagine one of your kids are blind, and then you are a soldier, and then you go out into war, and maybe your kids think you died. And then you come back war torn, right? Maybe skinny with a big beard or whatever. And then the kids of yours that do have sight can believe that their father had returned, but the blind child, because of how long they had waited and because of their conviction in you having died in the war, couldn't believe. You think that dad is just going to be like, okay, blind child, get outside, let me kick you out into the snow because you don't believe I'm still your dad. It's like, sounds like a piece of shit. I'm sorry, I shouldn't vocalize like that. It's like I just can't get behind that, right? It's not a romantic story to me. I'm a romantic at heart, ultimately. I'm in agreement with Sam on this one. He wasn't awake much, barely able to talk love again. Thanks for keeping us looped in, buddy. Hendrik just kind of endeared himself to us. We miss him. We do. I'm happy that I reached out as well. If there's more of you friends who have him on the Discord, do reach out too. Just send him good wishes and love. Bro, you did any personal research of yours on different religions? And what do you think? I think that religion is essentially a set of ideas that a bunch of people come together to believe in. All right? And in that way, there is a certain comfort that arises in that group of people because they get to come into a space where they get to look at the person next to them and they get to believe with some degree of certainty that that person believes the same things they believe. And again, that brings comfort to some people. And I cannot take that away, don't want to take that away, cannot, the exact words I'm looking for is like disparage that, I guess. It's theirs to have, right? It's true as much as anything else is. However, spirituality in my mind is the pursuit of what God is, right? Instead of the agreement of what God is. And that's where I stand personally, right? After all of the research, personal research that I did, I realized that that is the part of it that is important, the personal research part, the continuous self-exploration, the willingness to find the truth inside of you instead of looking for it in something else. That's where I stand on that topic specifically. I didn't even know he was in the hospital. Yeah, I think Lutz joined 2 days ago and let us know. We had like a whole stream talking about Hendrik even, saying that we are missing him the day before and the day after Lutz actually let us know. No problem, you guys. And the stream are embedded in his calendar with love. I never saw an emoji in his calendar. That's why I knew you guys deserve to know. I appreciate it, Lutz. Cats are chasing each other. That's usually not how it works. Usually it's one of the dogs. Thank you again, Lutz. Could you do a little favor and watch some videos of Dawah-wise and the Muslim lantern? Oh, you're trying to plug someone's content. Like I saw you typing stuff about Dawah-wise and Muslim lantern. Like that stuff is like going right over my head. I don't know what those words mean in succession. And the Existence Project from the channel, the reviewer of religions. We can discuss then tomorrow what you think. I'm going to be thinking the same things. I'm going to be thinking, yeah, this seems like people have come to a certain agreement about what right is. I'm going to be like, we know that. Been there, done that before. I'm just sick of humans weaponizing religions and justifying human safe suffering in the name of God. Yeah, me too, Lateng. Lutz, if you're still here, Hendrik was listening to Melt's previous streams in order. Next time you're in there, maybe play him some. That could be super wholesome. Man. Yeah. Just putting a stream on for him in the background, maybe. Please send Hendrik so much love from us. Thank you, Kristen, for sending love as well. Do you know about what number he is right now? Don't want to play something he's already heard. The last I heard, I think 47. I think he was like a number 47 or something like that. But I think he needs to use a VPN potentially because some of them might not show up in Germany for him. When I am... I'm gonna imagine I didn't read that comment. No idea, man. At this point, I don't think he'll care. Just hearing Mel's voice will be enough to help him feel better. Like, I feel very flattered by this, but almost to the point of, like, disillusionment, where I'm like, is that true? Is that real? Could my voice help? And again, like, wanting to believe in that, there's a part of me that's like, hubris. Just like, so much hubris. Love is true. I know he's gonna get better. All of us collectively holding him in high regard and imagining him getting better is power in of itself. That's probably true. I'll visit him tomorrow again. I'll play him some. Thanks for the wonderful idea. If I can fit it in, I will visit him around 4 p.m. so we can watch your live together. That would be so nice. Being able to tune in with you. Let us know if he's there with you so we can wish him even better. Don't be a stranger. We will love you too. It's true, Lutz. The space is for you too, friend. Ah, love is true. What happened to Hendrik? This is personal information, but part of me wants to share. He's in the hospital right now. He's stable. Right? If he comes back and he wants to tell us what happened, then he can. But I don't know if I should disclose. Thank you for the kind words. I can definitely see why he fell for y'all. Sam Myers, and definitely will do Shatakana. Yeah. We show up for one another. That's all we got. That's all we got. Little by little, we got these moments that we cut out for ourselves. Right? In a world that is more and more isolated and separated from one another because of our technology, being able to use it in this way to connect with other people is nice. But all can do one thing right. Just submit ourselves. Yes. Submit to love. I agree with this. Right? That part of yourself that is fighting love, just let go. Stop fighting. I agree. Look at us. Look at us finding common ground. Look at us doing it. No. No. No, I have reached my level. My level best has been reached. I have find myself saturated. I will now show you something pretty. And then I'll read you something. And then I'll say goodbye. It's true. Like so. Yeah. It's a little bit darker, more like punchy. This is yesterday's. And of course, we have to give some honor to them hearts. Little heartsies. Look at that tolerance. Look at how close they are to each other. Look at it. It's so close. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I'll read for you what went alongside it. You know, I have this whole process where I post those flowers to my Patreon. And I might have not posted that flower to my Patreon. Alas, how could such a thing happen? Mm, I'll blame it on my ADHD. Yes. Yes, I got ADHD MMDs. That's what did it. Wasn't my fault. I'm doing it right now. I cannot abide by it saying not posted for seconds more. I'm sorry. Late post. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Today's stream was about crystallizing, huh? Yeah, crystallizing. Yesterday's stream was about the will to create. Here's the piece that was supposed to go with it, but alas, didn't. It goes the will to create. It starts small. Fingerprints, mud pies, stars made from crayon lines. Before we had words, we had wonder. Before we had tools, we had time. The will to create was never taught. It came with us, curious, bright-eyed, turning nothing into something just to see it come alive. And then we grew. The world got louder and the spark stayed, learning new ways to speak. Now we shape with keys and code, with rhythm, pixels, brush and beat, fed by stories, scenes, and sounds. Each tool a new limb, each limit a push. We still chase that first joy, making what didn't exist until we moved. Not for praise, not for show, but to know what's inside by bringing it out. Creation is memory and motion, child and maker, root and bloom. And every day we have breath, tools, and choice. We begin again. Make more still, dear friends. What a pleasure it is to have Jaju here as well. Melt is a hippie, acidy art is a side effect. You do acid by chance. That is beautiful. Yes. It's interesting how that has happened twice. Melt, that is an exceptional flower. You like it too? Holy shit, Melt. That boy had better have his spanner when he makes it back here. Yeah, I think that maybe will be the thing we do. We give him a big old spanner, you know. Like a I don't think I should make jokes like that. I'm gonna just give him and put that in like one of the folders that don't make it to the light of day. Oh, what a pleasure it is to have you friends here. Yeah, it's true though, Lutz. It's interesting that question was asked by our beloved friend Hendrik as well. Right? He saw one of my pieces of art and he went, "You know what Liz D is? You know Liz D's?" And I was like, how did you know I know Liz D? And he was like, "That's pretty Liz D's, bruh. Takes one to know one." Lutz. Joe, just in time. We're just about to say goodbye. What a pleasure it was to have you friends here. There we go. I appreciate you. I thank you for joining me. It's a beauty. I appreciate you, friends, for being here with me. Up duty dudes. I appreciate you. Prairie Wolf 2, River Coon, are you on a Dream Distributors live? I don't know what that means, but that sounds sick. I had that whole conversation with my mom about you being like, I look younger than I am, Prairie Wolf. And I was like, yeah, look at that, mom. Some people still think I'm a spring chicken. Much love for all of you, and maybe I'll see you all tomorrow. If not, know that Hendrik will sleep to the tune of Melt and all of your vibes, loves, and thoughts, wishing him the best. Thank you, Lutz, again for finding yourself in this space. We're finishing up here as well. All of you friends, if you have some space in your heart, think about our friend Hendrik. Just imagine him waking up from his bed, looking in the world, feeling strong, stretching his body, wanting to go home, waiting to be seen out. I appreciate you, friends, for holding that imagining in your minds. I believe that's what prayer is. I thank you, friends. I'll see you again real soon. Bro. For now, until we do it again. Cheers, dear friends. Goodbye for now, until we do it again. Goodbye.